Yeah, I just wanted to make a video, show you guys what I am up to.
It's mid-January, and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is in the White House.
It's gonna just be dope. But I'm just turning around so you can see, got a group of people.
Henyard is in Washington as part of the U.S. Conference of Mayors annual winter meeting, along with mayors from hundreds of communities across the country. And part of the meeting includes a White House tour, including brief remarks from President Joe Biden. Henyard live streams her encounter and later puts a slickly produced video on her Facebook page capturing her photo op with the president. A big moment for a mayor from a relatively small suburb of about 20,000 people. Problem is, Henyard billed the trip to the wrong taxpayers.
These appropriations are misappropriations.
We showed what we found to veteran municipal lawyer Bert Odelson, who represents Dalton trustees opposed to Henyard.
Every time I say I can't believe that she would do something, here comes another.
What we found are credit card records showing expenditures for the Washington trip, including $5,000 to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, plane tickets for herself and assistant Keith Freeman for $718 apiece, hotel rooms at the Washington Hilton for over $1,000 each, and a $629 rental car. Total cost to taxpayers, $9,167. But here's the catch. Those taxpayers don't live in Dalton, where Henyard is mayor.
The township residents are paying for her fun.
Indeed, the credit card used to pay for the mayor's conference is from Thornton Township, a completely different government body where Henyard also serves as supervisor.
There's no reason for anyone from a township to go to a mayor's conference. A mayor's conference is a mayor's conference for mayors.
This is a Thornton Township credit card bill, yet their payment's going to a mayor's conference. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it really doesn't. But unfortunately, this is kind of what we've seen going on, obviously, for a while now.
Thornton Township trustee Chris Gonzalez says he's frustrated by the lack of transparency about the township's bills and credit cards.
So that's one of the reasons I vote no when we go through our board packets. It's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
You're the one who found these.
Yep.
Stephanie Wiedemann is a former Thornton Township employee fired by Henyard and now a whistleblower. She says Henyard's dual roles as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of the township, two separate government entities, are constantly being blurred.
I have found, bills that were made out to the village of Dalton that were paid with a Thornton Township check. It's hard to decipher what is township and what is Dalton because she blends them so carelessly.
And it should be church and state.
It absolutely should be.
Wiedemann and others believe Henyard is using township funds because Dalton is broke, as much as $5 million in the red. In part, they say, because of massive spending by Henyard on out-of-town trips, her police security detail, endless lawsuits, and overuse of credit cards, all of which are now the subject of an ongoing FBI investigation at both the village and the township.
You can't make this stuff up.
Attorney Odelson says he wouldn't be surprised if the FBI is looking at Henyard's trip to Washington on the wrong taxpayer's dime.
Is that a crime?
Misappropriation of funds for personal use? Yes, it is a crime.
And it's not that hard. If it's for Dalton, Dalton pays for it. If it's for Thornton Township pays for it.
We reached out to both Henyard and her top deputy, Keith Freeman, on whose Thornton Township credit card those charges appear. Neither have yet responded.
Tonight's meeting had a much different tone than what we've experienced previously at Dalton City Council meetings. Now, the room was full of Henyard supporters, and they wanted me to be sure to tell you that they applauded for her several times as she talked about the township being in a great place financially. Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who's also the mayor of Dalton, hosting a township talk tonight. About 30 residents in attendance, Henyard staff talking about upcoming events events as well as resources for seniors and struggling families. The majority of the meeting focused on property taxes and finances. Hinyard showed residents how their property taxes have increased each year despite what their local mayors may have suggested. Staffers also distributed a breakdown of the township's finances from 2017 to current, where Hinyard's team says years ago they were in a deficit of more than $2 million. And now, today, under her administration, her team says there's a surplus of more than $6 million.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993, and she's the best we ever had.
You know, you're doing a lot of programs, good programs for the, the senior citizens, and you're doing a lot of programs for, people who are on a fixed budget. But what about the people, the blue-collar people who are still carrying this, this town?
I was very appreciative of the transparency of the supervisor, Tiffany Hinyard.
Were there any questions that you have at all?
No, right now I'm going to give her a chance.
And this meeting comes one day after Fox 32's Dane Placco exposed what some are calling misappropriation of funds. After traveling to Washington, D.C. in January, Hinyard did not specifically mention Washington, but in her last comments, she did address budgets for travel.
You know we have a budget for travel. I can't say that they just put all that out there so bad for travel. And you should, for you, other cities, other villages, library boards, park boards, school boards, and you'll see that they all travel. But yet they put all this stuff on travel. And it's all legal. It's all legal. They try to spin it. And it's sad because they are doing a smear campaign.
Yeah, Hinyard says that her critics are merely running a smear campaign because her mayoral seat and her supervisor seat are up for re-election next year. The FBI continues to investigate Hinyard and her team in Dalton after several reports of misconduct.
City crews have spent hours tonight cleaning up the mess that Mother Nature left behind. Here in Beverly, there have been more than 30 reports of damage. And when that storm rolled through earlier today, wind gusts reached up to 70 miles per hour.
Obviously, as you could tell, there's still a lot of work to be done, a lot of cleanup to be had.
As strong winds whipped through the area, debris was sent scattered across Beverly. Near 106th and Campbell, a tree came crashing down, landing on the roof of a home.
The house itself is over 100 years.
Nora Marzak's parents bought the bungalow more than 45 years ago. She tells us there's been downed trees before, but never like this. Clay tiles are now cracked and windows shattered. Nora's mom missing the impact by just a few minutes.
That's the most important part, is that my mom wasn't home. I can't imagine how scary that would have been if she was, the crashing of the glass.
Meanwhile, throughout the neighborhood, storm damage was a familiar sight Monday.
I had no idea what I was coming home to and did not expect to drive up to see a tree just lying across the grass and in the street.
Near 104th and Claremont, neighbors say they heard thunder, lightning, and hail.
But then I decided to come to the window and I saw the whole tree just fell on top of someone's car.
Jasmine Anderson says the man was driving when the tree stopped him in his tracks.
The neighbors responded first. We saw all the commotion that happened.
Thankfully, she tells us the driver is okay.
It was honestly fortunate that the person in the car wasn't injured or anything like that. He was completely fine, but his car was absolutely smashed.
While the storms last night caused some damage here, Iowa was hit the hardest. Several tornadoes touched down, leaving a trail of destruction and killing several people.
Mills Hayes joins us live from Greenfield, Iowa, with more of the cleanup efforts there. Mills.
Hey, Dawn and Terrence, well, it's been an emotional day for many people here. This damage is just destructive, and you can tell how bad it is. Check out that car over there, battered in, windows blown out. This used to be a home right there, but all you can see is rubble that's left there. And a lot of people that I've spoken to tell me that this really is unbelievable how much damage this tornado brought in. It's been really a huge mess for many people to clean up, and it's going going to take a long time. Now, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds actually came and toured the area this morning, and she called all of this damage left behind by that severe storm last night gut-wrenching. She said it was tragic. And Greenfield, Iowa, this is a small town. Only about 2,000 people live here, but dozens of homes were destroyed, businesses obliterated. I saw multiple people digging through debris to try and find anything worth saving, like baby ultrasound pictures and boxes of memories. People who experienced the tornado tell me that it all happened so quickly, and it was scary to say the least. The hospital was hit hard. People had to be airlifted to hospitals in neighboring towns. They even set up a makeshift triage area at one of the lumber yards. Dozens remain now without power, including one woman I spoke with who tells me that the tornado lasted about 30 minutes.
A friend of mine, a tree fell in the front of her house, knocked her and another friend down, knocked the friend unconscious. Her neighbor got knocked down and broke her leg, and they had to put her in some kind of cart and get her somewhere, and she's in Winterset Hospital.
I know news and things like this are easy to forget. Please don't forget about us.
Someone may be watching right now thinking, I can run downstairs, grab the mail. It'll only take 2 minutes. I'll leave my door unlocked. Under no circumstances should you do that. And especially when I tell you these statistics, just last week, citywide aggravated battery was up, burglaries, and also robberies. And it's having an impact in the downtown Chicago area. A knife fight in broad daylight. Chicago police tell us two groups got into it in the 600 block of North Michigan Avenue Sunday. One of the men in this video lives here at the migrant shelter at Inn of Chicago.
That was reported by one of our local residents who lives adjacent to the migrant shelter at the Inn of Chicago. This individual recognized one of the assailants as a migrant who lives at the Inn of Chicago. So police are investigating that angle right now.
Alderman Brian Hopkins of the 2nd Ward says crime in Streeterville hasn't slowed down, specifically in the areas of Ohio and St. Clair.
We're seeing an increase in drug dealing, prostitution, loitering, the associated nuisance activity that goes along with loitering. There's a lot of litter and graffiti that happens, and occasionally a fight, like the knife fight that we just witnessed in Streeterville.
Residents of Streeterville apartments and condos have been warned not to hold the door for other people because criminals are weaseling their way in, targeting residents, taking valuables from inside their homes.
The 1st District's doing pretty well when it comes to crime. But we can always improve.
Just days ago, the 1st District Commander David Harris held a conversation with residents talking about crime in downtown. While crime is down 5% overall, burglaries are up 31%.
Some residents have the false sense of security that since they have a doorman, they don't have to lock their door. Well, that's one thing that we need to always lock our door.
Some good advice there, and I do want to point out the fact that the Chicago Police Department did create a robbery task force last week. It's made up of patrol officers and also detectives. They will be working overnight when many of these crimes happen, and the hope here is to put a dent in those numbers.
City Council is set for a vote on Wednesday that could defy the mayor and keep ShotSpotter up and running. 17th Ward Alderman David Moore says he believes enough colleagues will agree with Police Superintendent Larry Snelling, who has said publicly he finds ShotSpotter to be a useful tool.
If he needs it and it's important, what does that mean? It's working. It's working. And this over-policing thing, I am a young black man from the Chicago projects, Inglewood. ShotSpotter does not over-police our communities. It gives us a sense of safety.
Moore's ordinance requires City Council to vote on cutting funding or ending ShotSpotter's contract. Snelling believes ShotSpotter is a valuable public safety tool, but Mayor Johnson campaigned on getting rid of it and struck a deal with the company behind the technology, Sound Thinking, to phase it out by the end of November. But the company has feverishly lobbied behind the scenes to keep it around, as the deal dealt them a major financial blow. City Inspector General Deborah Witzberg authored a study concluding that ShotSpotter alerts rarely led police to any gun-related incidents. 25th Ward Alderman Byron Sigcho Lopez says he believes the mayor did the right thing.
Just a few years ago, the Inspector General report was very clear that this software, the Shot Spotter, was not adding or improving public safety for constituents, but quite the contrary. When many calls are saturated or responding to non-emergencies, we're actually doing a disservice to our constituents. So I hope that City Council members looking at the data and evidence that suggests that this contract should be canceled.
The Shot Spotter ordinance is scheduled for a vote at this Wednesday's City Council meeting. It's a major political defeat for the mayor. 34 out of 50 council members vote against him in favor of ShotSpotter, a veto-proof majority. But Johnson says the fight isn't over yet.
This particular measure that was voted on today did nothing. This city council, the legislative body, does not have executive authority.
Mayor Johnson defiant after proponents of ShotSpotter passed legislation that sets the stage for the technology to stick around. This despite the mayor's deal to keep the system through the Democratic National Convention.
The fact of the matter is that this tool has been proven to be ineffective. I canceled ShotSpotter. It's canceled.
Sound Thinking, the company behind ShotSpotter, engaged in a furious lobbying campaign, getting more centrist council members to back the order. It led to an impassioned council meeting today. A mass shooting in Alderman Monique Scott's 24th Ward has her afraid of losing ShotSpotter.
This is something my community needs. There were 90 shots, 6 shooters. 90 shots, 6 shooters. Not one person called the police. So this is safe for the DNC, but not for my constituents.
The final vote came after efforts from Johnson allies to use parliamentary tricks to punt to a future date, efforts that ultimately failed. A Sound Thinking representative says there will now be a vote to continue ShotSpotter's funding. But Mayor Johnson says City Council has no such authority.
Fox is one of 27 former Northwestern football players now involved in the ongoing lawsuit. Nathan and I attended the same high school outside of Houston. I've known his family for 20 years, which is why he sat down and gave Fox 32 his only TV interview to be able to tell his story.
I played sports my whole life. I've been in locker rooms. I've been around, rambunctious boys and stuff. And there's always shenanigans or whatnot you want to call it. But walking into the Northwestern locker room like culture, in a sense, is something that I've never seen before.
Nathan Fox knew almost instantly that what he says happened inside the locker rooms in Northwestern wasn't normal. He was, after all, a product of the Texas high school football world, known to many as the Friday Night Lights culture.
There's a common phrase where they say football in Texas is religion, and that's not far from the truth. I mean, I grew up since 8 years old, sports and playing football and loving it. But once you get to that high school level, especially like you mentioned, where we're from, where football is kind of like the thing that high schools are proud of, that's what brings people together on Friday nights.
A star middle linebacker, Fox made varsity his freshman year, first team All-State, All-American, district MVP, and had his first college offer by his sophomore year. In fact, Fox was sought after by schools around the country, everyone from Hawaii to Harvard.
Sophomore year, I had a very successful year. And after that, right after the season, basically, I got my first offer, which was an SEC school from Mississippi State. Got my first offer. And after that, they just pour in. Right off the bat, sophomore year, I had several from all different conferences.
Fox was approached by schools from the SEC, Pac-12, Big Ten, Big 12, even the Ivy Leagues. But at the end of the day, he chose Northwestern.
Northwestern fit kind of a happy medium of Big Ten football, still get to be on TV and under the big lights, but, they promise a very good education and prepared for life.
Northwestern first started recruiting Fox during his junior year of high school, ultimately leading to head coach Patrick Fitzgerald and linebacker coach Randy Bates visiting his Texas home.
I went to Northwestern because I really respected Coach Fitz. I say that's one of the main reasons I chose it, is because I was convinced, by him that not only was it a great school and a great opportunity, but that's the type of guy I'd want to be playing football for. And so when he came, I was proud, to have him in our home. He comes in and they promise you all this stuff, and for it to just be so complete opposite, just complete opposite of, what they say they stand for, who they are and stuff. It really does leave, like I said, quite a sour taste, because it's to me, it feels very disrespectful. It's it feels like we got taken advantage of.
Fox moved from Texas to the Northwestern campus in June of 2015. But upon stepping foot into the locker rooms with his new teammates, felt that something wasn't right. Fox's first week on campus featured a teammate exposing himself in the locker room, coupled with a popular threat. 3 words: wait for Kenosha.
It's what they intend with it, with the just wait for Kenosha, is that's what you hear that whole summer. That was my first experience with, like, what the hell is Kenosha and what are you guys talking about?
Kenosha, Wisconsin was where Northwestern held their preseason football training camp, where Fox says the hazing and harassment heated up.
The whole summer, they're tormenting you. Right off the bat, you're hearing about this Kenosha stuff. That first summer is more of just torment and kind of psychological. Once you get to Kenosha, then it's like all hell breaks loose in that respect. That's what they've been waiting for.
The complaint for the lawsuit that Fox and other former Northwestern football players have filed against the school and former coach Patrick Fitzgerald details both mental and physical abuse at the hands of the upperclassmen that started before training camp in Kenosha and continued on into the regular season.
We would have like a 3-hour sexual assault seminar from Northwestern and then go straight to the locker rooms and then be doing the stuff they're preaching about, us not doing. You just kind of get broken, like, all right, like, just accept it. It is what it is. And that's okay for a little bit. You can only block it out, but years down the road, this doesn't go away. It's not a good feeling knowing, like, your true kind of outcries were ignored.
Fox spoke to 6 different members of the Northwestern staff, including coaches and an on-staff therapist. According to the complaint, the therapist told Fox that his hazing and abuse accusations were not real and diagnosed him with depressive bipolar disorder.
I told coaches, I told therapists, like, I brought this up because I knew, like, this isn't right. Like, this is really not normal. And their reactions, no one ever acted surprised. No one ever asked more questions. No one ever, it was, they all knew and they're all okay with it. How many times can you keep banging down that door and try and tell them when they just keep shutting it, So eventually you just fall in line. Like this is Northwestern football. You do get brainwashed in a sense of like, okay, maybe I am seeing these things wrong. Maybe, this is not harmful, even though like you're experiencing it.
Fox stopped playing football for Northwestern in 2018 and went on to graduate from the school in 2019. But with 2 years of football eligibility left, transferred to the University of Houston, which gave him a glimpse of a different locker room environment.
The first day there, I could instantly tell, like, okay, completely different culture, completely different atmosphere. And, I almost say it made me upset because, you try to block out Northwestern, but then you go to U of H and see how different it is and how like a real just like cultural or ritualistic, like weird culture, like locker room.
Fox is one of many former players who filed lawsuits, 27 in total. These days, Fox says he's doing all right.
It's been a tough several years. And I think the hardest thing is just trying to block everything out, just try to, turn the other cheek and, live each day not thinking about stuff that happened. And that really only works for so long.
What a great day for a grand opening here in Wilmette. We've got Adam Katz with us from Wayfair. This is going to be a big deal because it's an actual store. We're used to seeing the website and ordering stuff, but people will see the stuff in person.
Yes, this is our first large Wayfair branded store here in Wilmette, Illinois. We're so excited to be able to welcome it to the public in just a couple of hours. We're running a big Memorial Day promotion all weekend starting today through Monday. Lots of other activities and engagement for our customers, for families to come here and really become a part of the Wayfair community.
I heard that there's a really good discount for several days.
There are great discounts throughout the store on everything from pillows and florals to sofas, tables, everything throughout the store. Our customers who are here in line have been will get access to their own gift cards as well. Our first 100 customers a day get a special promotion. We're going to have giveaways throughout the day, so lots of fun surprises.
That seems like low effort to get a nice discount. That must be why there's so many people here.
Yeah, I think we've seen there's just a lot of enthusiasm in this community. That's part of why we're so excited to open this store here. Is there's a lot of avid Wayfair shoppers that we're really excited to be able to deliver this product to, and we can see it with this line.
Maybe you already know this, but here in this plaza, this space has been empty for a long time. It's really nice to see something grow here.
Yeah, we're really excited to be able to partner with our WS Development, who's been helping us revitalize this, as well as the local community, working really closely with Wilmette, the village here, to reinvigorate this and give back to the community in some ways and create the destination that it used to be here.
Do you know why this was chosen of all the places you could have landed in the country?
We spent a lot of time on that, and this is Chicagoland is a great market for us. We have a lot of customers here that are enthusiastic about our brand, and in particular Wilmette and the surrounding communities here. A lot of young families, a lot of folks that are eager to use Wayfair to furnish their home, and we want to be here to support them. So we sort of had this active fan base that we were excited to be able to partner with.
Built through a website, was there clamoring for an actual store?
Yeah, we've both from our customers and then internally, we've been talking and working on this for years. We know that being able to provide a physical experience augments our e-commerce experience, and really we're very focused on meeting the customer where they are and being able to deliver an experience however they want to shop. This is just another element of that.
All right, so big deal, big party today too.
Big party today. Come on down. We got music, we got food, we've got entertainment, we've got activities for the kids. Lots of things to do here, and of course great prices, great discounts, so please come on down and check it out.
You said the word discount. That's a good word. Thank you, Adam Katz, who is here to greet all the folks. I think our first person in line came from Vernon Hills, not too far away, but the line is growing, and those folks, they're going to get a gift card today.
We continue to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month with a woman who has not only broken the mold in Asian cuisine, she came up with just the right recipe for hundreds of other women to maximize their success in the restaurant industry too. Rohini Day is a powerful force who can frequently be found serving up loads of inspiration worldwide.
Nestled here in River North, one of Chicago's most lauded restaurants, Vermilion has been serving up heat for years.
When it comes to food, my goodness, whether it's Indian or Vietnamese or Thai or name it, Burmese or whatever, how can you go wrong?
For more than 2 decades, this unique fusion of Indian and Latin flavors,
or think of the tandoori skirt steak. This is my personal favorite.
Has been a sizzling hit.
In our tandoori marinade and seared in the tandoor, you've got to come.
Try out the food for sure, but when you learn more about the woman behind the brand, you understand that bold flavor pours well beyond the menu. It's in her DNA.
I'm not a stranger to the glass ceiling. I've seen it in boardrooms, countries, policy cabinets.
Born in India to an Air Force fighter pilot and a mother who exported garments.
Retailing at Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom's, Bloomingdale's, and she really had a flourishing business of her own. So she's someone I admire tremendously.
It set the tone for not following trends, but instead creating them. So after getting her bachelor's, master's, and PhD in economics,
growing up, my goal was to work at the World Bank. I was driven to do that since I was 12, and that's what brought me to the US.
Rohini Day went from working at the World Bank, helping developing countries get access to water, transportation, and other resources, to putting her stamp on this city in all new ways.
It just felt like a wild gamble. It's a cuisine I needed to educate everybody in.
A blend unheard of at the time, and while her timing may not have been impeccable,
I launched Vermilion, this one, Chicago, in 2003. And it was not the best of timing because I was pregnant.
It didn't take long to realize the concept had struck just the right chord.
Within a year, were Best Restaurants, Travel and Leisure, Town and Country, Wine Enthusiast, Esquire, USA Today, actually Chicago Magazine, the gamut.
Was it easy? No. Were there setbacks? Sure. But not only did Vermilion launch her name into the stratosphere, it quickly put others on the map as well.
And I had to go hire a new chef, who then I promoted and who became a judge on Chopped. And still is.
Her passion was taking on new purpose. Astonished at how few women were leading executive chefs or restaurateurs who owned their business and employed others, Rohini went from chairing the James Beard Foundation's Women's Advisory Leadership Program to founding Let's Talk Women after the pandemic rocked them all.
I reached out to 15-20 of my women restaurateur colleagues to ask, how are they coping and could we possibly help each other.
Once again, an idea that grew exponentially.
That 20 of us have grown to 120 of us today. I just find that incredible within 4 years. And I've scaled Let's Talk Women from Chicago to 15 different cities.
A volunteer-led movement with dozens of women business owners, restaurateurs, ambassadors, tastemakers, and more in each city, joining together with the sole purpose of boosting business and resilience industry-wide.
It's a blend of seizing opportunity, never taking no, and my motto is, what's the worst that can happen? You've got to give it a shot. At worst, you're going to be denied. But at best, you can maximize your footprint, and it is so gratifying in so many ways.
When your daughters talk about you, how would you want them to describe you?
Someone who was unafraid to push the frontiers. Groundbreaking.
It's her legacy, forever known for igniting a fire for change.
Well, we are with some hardcore fans this morning of Bluey. Do you recognize the space, Bluey's house? Oh, it's a little game of keepy-uppy going on over here. We want to give you a tour of this latest attraction to open in Lincoln Park. Amanda Roboso is going to tell us about it.
That's right. Welcome to camp. We are behind the magic door in Bluey's house, and our job is to see if we can go find Bluey and Bingo. Now, at the very end of the experience, we're going to bring the kids to actually find them. So let me see if I can gather them now. They're playing keepy uppy.
All righty.
Hello, my friends. Are we ready to go find Bluey and Bingo? All right, come follow me.
All right, let's go. This is exciting.
Yes. So we're walking through Bluey's house. This is the living room, and I have a feeling there's one place our friends haven't checked yet for Bluey and Bingo. We've been playing a very fun game of hide and seek.
Okay, so should we go in the cabinet? Wait, how do we get in the cabinet?
What is it?
It's a secret door, I think.
Oh,
it's a secret door. Right you are.
Come on in, my friends. I think this is the last place we haven't checked for Bluey and Bingo.
Okay, so what is this now? Oh, it's a closet.
Yeah, we're in Mom and Dad's closet, and as you can see here, they're still looking for Bluey and Bingo, but they can't find them. But I have a feeling my campers here will help Mom and Dad find Bluey and Bingo. What do you think? Yeah. Okay, so I need to see all the magic in your hands like this. And on the count of 3, we're going to say Bluey one more time, and maybe Bluey and Bingo will come out, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bluey! Wait a second. Oh, who's that? And here
I hear some pretty big reactions. A lot of excitement because look who's here. It's Bluey and Bingo. So tell me how this works. People can bring their children here. They have to reserve a spot?
That's exactly right. They can reserve a spot on camp.com. Tickets start at around $39 per person, go up to about $48. We're open 7 days a week. The show runs every 15 minutes, and it's about an hour-long experience for the whole family. Wow.
They couldn't be cuter. I tell you, there's a cute bunch over here at camp. Again, it's right in Lincoln Park, and an opportunity for moms and dads and grandparents to have an outing with the kid. Thank you so much for the tour, Amanda.
Thank you for being here, Roseanne.
I know we have an incredible packed show over the next 2 hours, but I might have the best view of anyone. In fact, I can look down. I can see you guys. I'm literally looking down. Look how good looking you are. I can see you down there right now. We are live on the Centennial Wheel. We are here with Dylan Hankey of Navy Pier, who's going to tell us a little bit about it. Dylan, good to see you, my friend.
Good morning.
This is incredible. This is, let's sort of kind of paint the picture for where we're at. This is the VIP gondola. This is the one you want to be in. There are 42 on the entire Centennial Wheel. Tell us how this one's different.
So this one's a little different. It is a glass
Look at
floor.
that. I mean, look at that. Look at that. So maybe if you have a fear of heights, this is a little tougher.
This is about 200 feet in the air right now, and we're right at the top.
We are there. This is pretty incredible. How many people get engaged up here?
Oh, too many to count, I'd say.
But this is really remarkable. I was talking to you before we came on, and there are so many great views of the Chicago skyline, different angles you can look at our city. This might be the best because you actually sort of get a step back and able to look west and get just this remarkable view of what I think is the best skyline in the world. What do you think?
Absolutely. You cannot miss the Centennial Wheel. It's 360 views of the entire city. Yes, a unique angle. You can look north, south, up the lakeshore, and what a beautiful morning to check this out.
I mean, I think it says a lot that, you know, whenever you talk to people about Navy Pier, even people who've maybe never been to Chicago, oftentimes they'll go, the Ferris wheel. I mean, it's become such a staple of not just Navy Pier, but the city as a whole, and it's a pretty great thing to do. Now, how do people come out? It's a ticketed situation, right?
That is correct, yes. So you purchase a ticket. You can purchase tickets in advance, and also you can get a ticket for all of our other attractions.
Which, as we're swinging down, we're going to get a look at some of the other ones throughout the morning. We're going to take a look at the mini golf. But look, there are so many different things you can come out here. Honestly, if you step out, anywhere around here, you hear the kids screaming on the swings and the drop. I mean, you really can just come out here and make it your day. It's not a part of your day. It just is your day.
That's right. You'll never run out of something to do here. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out everything. We have a drop tower, we have a carousel, the swing ride.
And I got to tell you, as someone who has been on the Ferris wheel, on the Centennial Wheel many times, depending on the time of day, makes a completely different experience. You know, I've seen it here, at 9 o'clock in the morning. I've seen it, at nighttime, with the sunset, sunrise, lights on, lights off. It's a completely different experience. You could do it 100 times and it would feel different 100 different ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
So really quick, we can kind of get a view as we're rising. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is such a great view as you're kind of rising. And look at that. Is that the Good Day Chicago crew, right? Look how good looking they are. It's like we just work with a group of models. Look at them.
The Chicago Beach is officially open this coming Friday. It's a reminder, as you just mentioned, Dawn, for swimmers to stay safe, but also we've got some tips in case you encounter an emergency. Now, North Avenue Beach was packed this morning and continues to be packed throughout the day, whether folks playing volleyball or enjoying some sunbathing, everybody just trying to have a good time. This morning, helicopters, boats, dive teams, and medical teams staged a water rescue off of Navy Pier. A Chicago firefighter acted as a victim and was stranded in the water. A helicopter unit swept for any hazards before dropping 2 divers to rescue the swimmer, then taking him to a boat for care. Again, a reminder when enjoying Lake Michigan this summer, be wise and call for help the moment you sense trouble. A fire official said no one should swim alone, absolutely no one. Also, you should swim with a partner, and even the strongest swimmer, the fire official said, can have a bad day.
Once a water response is activated, both police and fire are dispatched. It depends upon who's closest. All resources are coming. On the fire department side, we're sending units from land, air, and sea to respond to the different locations out there. When a person's on the surface like that, sometimes it's a faster response, identifying that a person's drowning or having difficulties, or even identifying that a boat's in distress. Call early and often with that. We'll provide assistance as best as possible, and we'll help mitigate the situation as fast as possible.
Some communities can't escape the cicadas, while other communities just down the road can't find a single one. We talked to an expert from the University of Illinois to get a better understanding on how that's possible.
So they don't actually travel that much like other insects might do during the time that they are out as adults. They don't go that far. They may go to another tree, but not, a mile or so, or a mile or two.
Mariana Lane, assistant professor with the Department of Entomology at the University of Illinois, says cicadas can be quite patchy, and it depends on where the female cicadas laid their eggs long ago. Newly developed communities or new construction could also play a role in whether or not cicadas are able to emerge.
If there is a parking lot that is built over where they're at, then they can't come out. That will be bad. Or even if you had a parking lot and you made that back to a natural area, 17 years ago, nothing laid eggs there, so maybe there's no cicadas there.
Elaine says that if you're not hearing the cicadas just yet, give it a few more days. Within a few days from now, the rest of the periodical cicadas should emerge. If it's still quiet in your neighborhood, then you may just be able to enjoy some peace and quiet, at least for a while.
Right around the time when these are done, we will get our usual annual cicadas coming out in July.
So did you catch that? We have our periodical cicadas, but in July, we're going to have the annual cicadas. So we're not done once this brood is, done with their life cycle. We're going to have another one likely emerging in July. That is the annual cicadas that are here every single year.
There's one thing Angel Reese doesn't want to be, and that is one-dimensional. Ever since she stepped into the WNBA, she's been balancing basketball and business. From jet setting to a red carpet event to putting up a rookie record 12 offensive rebounds in her first 2 games, she's proof she can do it all.
Angel Reese up and under, off the high glass, no, they're on the doorstep, right place, right time.
That's just what I do. That's in my blood. I mean, coming into the league, understanding the skill and competitiveness, and knowing every given night I'm not going to have an easy night, so I know I can go in and get rebounds. That's just something I always bring to the table. So I'm just filling things out. I got in foul trouble for the first 2 games, so rebounding was just what I was just getting my points from, getting other possessions from. So doing what I do, what I've always done.
You said that Teresa Weatherspoon and your college coach, Kim Mulkey, are similar in that they expect greatness from you every single day. How has Spoon been able to get the most out of you so far?
Bringing energy every single day. She expects a lot out of me, even though I'm a rookie. She just brings so much energy to practice, and it's contagious, and I always want to go hard for her because I know she's going to go hard for us. So having a coach like that is amazing. Being able to see her tears in the locker room after the game means so much because that's her first win.
This first win means more to me than you all can ever imagine.
Knowing everything, all the pressure that's on her, and I just always give her a hug. Like, both of us have the pressure, and I just want you to feel relaxed and loved and know that you're not in this by yourself. So I love her. I love Coach Mulkey as well. So I'm just happy to be here.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. The last 2 months, you play in the Final Four, you get drafted to the WNBA, you go to the Met Gala, you graduate from college, you're in all these business deals. What are you most proud of yourself when you go home at night?
Just being able to believe in impact. I've done so many amazing things by the day, by the night. I have a foundation as well. That's probably my proudest thing. The Angel C. Reese Foundation, being able to give a scholarship every year to my high school. So that was the biggest thing I've always wanted to do. And yeah, I'm just having fun, being able to leave my impact, doing whatever I can to help grow the game.
You invested into the USL women's team, and you're trying to make an impact on girls across the country, especially in your hometown. What do you want little girls who see your name? Your voice has such an impact, as you just said, to believe in themselves when they see all that you're doing.
Yeah, as a young black girl, I mean, a lot of people don't think that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing, and being able to today announce that I am being a part owner of the Power FC League in DC, soccer league, just being able to know that's so important. I mean, a lot of women that look like me aren't able to have that chance, and I think young girls look up to me and say, like, I can do the same things, and I've always wanted to be that. I've always wanted to leave my impact, not just on the court, but off the court as well. So I'm happy and excited for this new move for me, just being able to just help grow sports, not just basketball, but all sports in the world.
I was looking at your Instagram, and most people who are playing in the WNBA would say they're an athlete in that little description area. Yeah. You call yourself an entrepreneur. Yes. How important is that to you?
I do everything. I'm a jack of all trades. I'm a Barbie. So, Barbie puts on every different hat. She's a doctor. She's a cook. She's a basketball player. She's a model. I do so many different things. So I don't want to just justify myself as just an athlete because I was a student athlete. I'm a model. I do so many different things. So just being able to be a jack of all trades is something I've always wanted to do because the basketball does stop one day. I know, like, if I stop playing basketball today, I'll still have an impact. People are still going to talk about me and still treat me the same. So just being able to do that and know that without basketball, I'm still somebody is just something that's super important to me.
You said there's no better place for you than being in Chicago. And this weekend, you guys get to go to Wintrust Arena, play in front of your fans for the first time. What are you expecting?
I'm excited. I'm expecting so many different people to come out and love us and support us. It just gives me chills right now to know so many people are going to come out. I've gotten so many texts like, how can I get courtside tickets and see how they can come to the game? And people are fighting over tickets, trying to get to the front and see us all. And so many people buying our jerseys. Everything's selling out. So we got to handle New York first on Thursday, but then coming back home is just going to be surreal.
Got any teasers for who might be there? Because I know you mentioned, Usher and Cardi B said they were going to come out to a game, potentially?
We might see some people on Thursday in New York, so we'll let you know.
Alicia, you outlined how several ads on social media are indicating that more women are quitting the pill because of, and I quote here, irreversible side effects. But how true is that?
So it's not just ads on social media. It's influencers who are acting and posting acting as experts and posting advice on these platforms, even if they have no medical background. And really seeing this proliferation of misinformation all over my feed was, in fact, the reason we decided to do this piece. To be clear, for most people, the side effects of the pill are not irreversible, and the risks of a severe reaction like a stroke is very, very low. For example, it is roughly around 8 out of every 100,000 women, the risk of stroke, if you're using the pill. And that is maybe an older version of the pill, not the newer, lower dose versions. And that risk is far less than the risk of a stroke during pregnancy, which is about 30 out of every 100,000 women. So I don't want to undermine the terrible experience that women do have on the pill. It can be truly horrible for so many, but to answer your question, the side effects are not irreversible. And what we found in our investigation is that a lot of women are still using the pill. They are not abandoning the pill based on the misinformation on social media. We commissioned an analysis by Trilliant Health and found that pill usage has actually gone up slightly from 7.1% in 2018 to 10% in 2023. So I think the misinformation is kind of noise and not really translating into too much hysteria around just abandoning the pill.
And lucky for women, there are many different types of the pill, so maybe you're having a bad reaction to one. I know there are others that you can try. What have you found the role of birth control has played in states that have seen recent abortion access restrictions?
So in our investigation, we found that there is quite a bit of overlap between the states that have some of the most restrictive abortion access bans and the states that saw some of the biggest growths in birth control pill prescriptions. So for example, in Alabama, where abortion is completely banned right now, prescriptions went up by almost 5% between 2018 and 2023. And that is far higher than the national growth level of 3%. Same situation in South Carolina, Florida, West Virginia. We saw that a total of 9 states with the most restrictive bans saw these larger than average increases in prescriptions. And, what I also learned in reporting this piece is that right after the Supreme Court ruled to overturn abortion access, women started stocking up on the pill. They were getting prescriptions for longer than just 1 month because one packet is a month long, and were instead getting prescriptions for up to 6 and 12 months. They didn't want to be in a situation where they would run out of their pills. And of course, while this story focused on just a pill, we know from CDC data that more and more women are also opting for sort of longer acting contraceptives like the IUD and the implant. So a lot of the researchers I spoke to for this article told me that there is, this sort of heightened sense of urgency and understanding that women need to prevent pregnancy in light of the recent changes in abortion access.
Alicia, this has been an enlightening conversation. Thank you so much. And I personally would encourage women to speak with their doctor if they have questions about the pill.
No person has gotten a bigger reaction than Lisa Vanderpump in recent memory. What happens when you take two of the biggest personalities on television and kind of pit them against each other? Not only is the new season of Food Stars completely off the rails hilarious, so is any attempt at actually trying to interview them. I sat down with both Gordon Ramsay and Lisa Vanderpump to talk about the new season, their own individual restaurants, and what I learned exactly it means by Lisa's donut.
I want to start out talking about the fact that it's so inspiring watching these young entrepreneurs so early in their life pitching, giving everything to you guys. You know each other very well. I want you to think about the person sitting next to you, who they were maybe earlier in their career and their life. Do you think you would have picked the person sitting next to you to be on your team?
Yeah, I would have picked him. Whether I liked him or not is a different thing, but I would have picked him. He is the most tenacious person I've ever met in my life.
I would have picked Lisa, especially, I run restaurants, Lisa runs bars, and so...
No, I don't. I run restaurants. But I have a bigger bar crowd than he does, so that's why. Don't go with that word. Nobody knows what you're talking about when you say that.
Lisa's business is wet-led. Because
nobody's ever heard that, right?
No, but they're cocktails.
It's actually
tremendous cocktails.
60-40.
And they serve little canapes.
No, we don't. We have full meals.
Oh my God.
Just because they haven't got Michelin stars coming out of we still serve dinner.
I do go to Lisa's bars for a drink after work.
Sometimes we have to kick him out.
And oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, we've both been there together. Let's be honest. Let's be honest now.
But your cocktails are too big.
Yeah.
That gin and tonic's like this fishbowl.
It's working for us.
This interview is proving, as the show did, that I kind of need you guys just to work on every show together moving forward.
Oh my God.
I was going to ask you, are there any other Vanderpump shows that Mr. Ramsey
I think
would...
he should be a chef in Vanderpump Rules.
Right.
Right?
Well, listen, in between challenges...
And if it all goes horribly wrong,
no,
you've
but
got a job with me.
When we're resetting, I would take time out and, play with Lisa's donut for 10 minutes.
Donut being my dog.
I need you to explain that expression.
My donut hasn't been touched in years. On the other hand, my Pomeranian...
Stay there. Donut?
Will you come back to sit here?
Donut. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Lisa's donut.
Just wait. This is worth the wait.
He's my donut.
This is Lisa's
donut.
But Lisa was abandoning her poor dog, so I'd take it for walks, make sure it was shit on the carpet,
True.
and then would feed Donut properly, and we bombed it. So
He tried to give him a beef Wellington. It's bigger than him. He tried to make her sandwich.
Do you have
out
any
of
idea
it.
what it meant for me to play with her donut 10 minutes a day? I swear to God.
Sorry, this is how inappropriate it is. This is
If
how...
this interview doesn't sell the show...
But Jake, I did not put a hole in her donut, okay?
You did. It was a little tiny pinprick. It was.
So what happens when you combine perhaps the worst tasting liquor of all time with the worst plague of cicadas in more than a century? We're about to find out.
Why not, make something grosser than what's already gross?
Why not indeed? Which is why the culinarily creative folks at Noon Whistle Brewing in Lombard are now offering a shot that will make your guts rot. Malort infused with cicadas.
It makes people grossed out, but I think intrigued at the end of the day.
Each morning, Noon Whistle's Joey Jardinera heads to the small stand of woods next to the brewery and picks out a few juicy bugs.
This is a good one right here.
Then takes them back to the brewery, where he gently bathes the cicadas.
You just want to get all the sort of dust and debris that they might have.
Then puts them into a permanent cicada sleep in the freezer. Later, the dead cicadas are baked to a temperature of 225 degrees, soaked in vodka before they're dropped into the bottles of Malort.
You want to do at least 2 or 3, to really get that the cicada.
Since announcing it on social media Tuesday, a shocking number of people have been flocking to the brewery to take a shot.
Here's the 17 years.
What a champ.
Delicious.
It was good. The Malort was fine. It was good. And the cicada was buttery and kind of like nutty, and it was good.
You'd recommend it?
I would do it again.
And if you're feeling bad for the cicadas...
Now at least they get to party with a bunch of people while they're here, with us for the time being. So it's a good way to go if you're going to go.
Noon Whistle plans to be serving the cicada-infused Malort at least through their Summerfest celebration in mid-June or until the cicadas run out, which at this point doesn't seem it'll ever happen.
Thanks for watching the Fox 32 Chicago Week in Review. See you back here next week.